Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Labor says Tasmania's Premier should be held accountable, accusing him of misleading Parliament after it was revealed the state government knew about a cost blowout of a Devonport wharf needed to home a second Spirit of Tasmania vessel. TT Line, who's responsible for the contractual work, says the government was informed of a cost estimate in December. The Premier said last month he hadn't been advised.
Can't have the Premier of Tasmania deliberately misleading the Parliament and Tasmanians because it's politically inconvenient.
The Premier's delivered his understanding in the Parliament. He has not misled Parliament and he's provided his understanding consistent with the information that he had at the time.
The government says it will continue to hold TT Line accountable, which it will do during scrutiny hearings. A Kingborough hobby club situated on the future side of an NBL training facility is calling for the plans to be halted. Members believe they're ideal tenants, but council argue the build allows for a much-needed expansion of basketball facilities.
This is the preferred site for a new Jack Jumpers High Performance Centre in Kingston. The only problem, it's already occupied.
I've been here since the late 70s. We've been the lessee. It was given to us originally because it was reclaimed land, deemed unsuitable for any other sort of construction.
Originally planned for Wilkinson's Point in Glenorchy, a change of heart saw plans for the future build of a training facility moved to the Kingborough Sports Precinct a few weeks back. But the Hobart Radio Control Car Club say they've got nowhere else to go.
We love the Jack Jumpers. We've got nothing against them. I would never miss a game, but there's got to be a better site than this bog hole.
Kingborough Council argue the build would allow for the future expansion of community sports, particularly basketball. With geotechnical testing set to be undertaken, it's also committed to helping find a replacement track. The state government agrees.
The government will do whatever's necessary to ensure that there's full and proper consultation with all those stakeholders affected. We'll respond to those requests and do that in a very considerate and thoughtful way.
But for the members here, it's more than a racetrack. The ashes of 2 founding members actually buried on this site, giving it sentimental value.
What we've built, and until we're ready to, turn our toes up and run away, then we should be left alone. We've paid our rent.
Community courts will still be built in Glenorchy with MyState Bank Arena, the southern game venue. Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian women taking oral contraception will soon be spared more trips to the doctor. From Monday, pharmacists will be granted additional powers to renew prescriptions, making the process smoother and helping to free up our overrun GPs.
Big changes are coming to the pharmacy counter. Tasmanian women will be able to access a 2-year supply of their oral contraception pill with just 1 script.
This is a great step forward for us as pharmacists and also for women in Tasmania who really do struggle. We know they struggle to get to their GP.
The state government rolling out the reform, granting pharmacists the power to write a repeat prescription for an additional 12 months, meaning women will only have to see a doctor once to secure 2 years' supply.
We are always looking at ways that we can not only make healthcare more cost effective for women, but also more convenient for them.
It means that that person has to have been on the pill consistently for 2 years prior to the consultation in the pharmacy.
It's a move which is estimated to help around 300 people each week, freeing up GP appointments, taking the pressure off our overflowing waiting rooms.
That means that the GPs will have more time to care for those Tasmanians that deserve the health care that they really need.
Those aged between 16 and 50 will be eligible. The changes take effect from Monday. Victoria Easto, 7 Tasmania News.
A much-loved Brighton Football Club player who lost his life to melanoma has been recognised at a special luncheon. The 4th annual Brendan Browning Memorial Day, also hoping to raise vital funds to help find a cure for the disease.
A community united to help eliminate the cancer that stole their loved one and teammate.
Brendan was diagnosed at the end of 2019 as melanoma. So it was a real shock to our whole family, our friendship group and the broader community.
The death of Brighton Football Club's larger-than-life larrikin, representing the grim reality of our bronze Aussie culture.
Unfortunately, he was a child that grew up in the sun. We didn't wear sunscreen, pale skin, blonde hair.
Former Australian cricketer and Tasmania's own Brett Jeeves also reminding sports people to protect their skin, knowing all too well the impacts of the sun.
There's a spot on my face that was identified as a concern, so we're watching that closely. I've had one removed from my back.
Melanoma is often considered Australia's cancer.
In Australia, we lose thousands of people a year. Someone's diagnosed every 30 minutes.
Brendan's family are now doing their bit to help cure our sunburnt country, using his legacy to encourage others to get their skin checked.
Lots of people after he passed come up and said, "Oh, I've just gone and had my first skin check."
The deadly disease, a leading cause of death among young people, commonly affecting those aged 20 to 39 years. But early diagnosis can be the difference between life and death.
It's one of the more preventable of cancers if people protect their skin.
A simple step that could save lives. Rebecca Gaidaneros, 7 Tasmania News.
Round 13 of the Tasmanian State League served up some convincing wins across the board. At North Hobart Oval, it was a bottom-of-the-table battle between Launceston and the Demons. The home team came out on top, notching up a 7-point win. Charlie Boville sealing the deal before the final siren went off.
Charlie Boville goes back, slams it through, and the Demons lead by 8.
Meanwhile, second-place Clarence managed to bounce back after last week's loss, taking out Glenorchy by 36 points. The Magpies were able to close the gap by 7 points 11 minutes into the third quarter, but it wasn't enough to get them over the line.
Streams out as Rowbottom. He can't kick. He can, no.
While North Launceston convincingly beat Kingborough by 53 points. It wasn't a good day for the Allies team in the Under-18 Girls Football Championships, with Victoria Metro defeating the side by 94 points. 5 Tasmanians were named in the Allies team, including Ava Reid, who scored one behind, and Priya Baring with 24 disposals. They'll next face Queensland on July 13. In the NBL1, both Hobart Chargers teams had strong wins against the Kilsyth Cobras. In the women's, Sierra Walker scored 23 points in her team's 12-point victory. She also made 5 shots from behind the arc, while both Viontae Daniels and Al Angustine made major contributions to the men's 21-point win, both players scoring 18 points each. Meanwhile, the Thunder had a dominant 15-point win against Diamond Valley in Ulverston last night. Seko Silla, the standout player for Northwest, with 28 points and 14 rebounds. Trey Armstrong with 23 points of his own, while the Launceston Tornadoes had a narrow loss to the Eagles, thanks to 2 successful 3 throws by Abby Ellis in the final minutes of the match. Hobart golfer Matthew Goggin had a frustrating day in the second round of the US Senior Open in Rhode Island. Despite starting tied for 5th place at 4 under par, Goggin had 4 bogeys and ended the day in 32nd place.
Good evening. 14 in Hobart today, 13 across Devonport and Burnie, Launceston 12. 15 was the state's top in Grove and Flinders Island, Strawn 12 and 13 in Low Head. A mid-level cloud band crossed the state today, moving towards the east, while a widespread low cloud moves into the west and south. Further out, a cold front is crossing South Australia and Western Victoria, while low to middle level cloud covers parts of eastern Queensland. Tomorrow shows a cold front and low pressure centre passing to the southeast of Tasmania. South to southwesterly winds tomorrow 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots about the east and south. Swells up to 5 metres in the west and south and up to 2 metres in the north. A gale warning is current for the east coast, a strong wind warning for the south of the state, west coast and Flinders Island, and a flood warning for the South Esk and North Esk rivers. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart and Ooze, a shower or two, 9 in Richmond. In the north, cloudy across Launceston and Devonport, 9 in Deloraine. Burnie tomorrow, partly cloudy, showers easing in Strawn, a shower or two in Curry. 11 in St Helens, Swansea a possible shower and mostly sunny in Whitemark. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Monday, light showers about the west and far south with snow falling to 700 metres. Tuesday, light showers about the southwest and far south, mostly sunny elsewhere. And Wednesday, sunny with light showers about the west and south. Capital cities, 19 and sunny in Perth tomorrow, showers in Melbourne and 32 in Darwin. And currently Hobart, mostly cloudy and 10, Launceston clear and 8, Devonport partly cloudy and 9, and that's Saturday night's weather, Lou.
Wonderful, thanks for that, Jackie. And that's Saturday night's news as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be with you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.